About this trip. I haven't actually heard about your trip to Alaska yet, really, except that it was amazing and mind-blowing and all that stuff. But can you walk us through that trip? We're going to try to get permits this year. Who knows if we'll get them. They said it's a good chance, but so maybe we'll do it again this year. But walk us through that trip.
I got a call from our friend Andy, who's been a longtime photographer for Patagonia. It was this, hey, I need 2 anglers for a trip to the Brooks Range in August. ... Are you available? And I was like, he's like, I'm thinking about the Kongakut. It was great. It was totally unknown, and so it was perfect. I had no idea of where that river was, and he's like, oh yeah, and there's we're going for a char, Arctic Char, and I was like, all right, and I reached out to Thor. And everybody's obviously knows the North Slope and has fished drainages like that before, and so he had dialed me in on flies and what to use and different tactics, and knew about Anwar, the Arctic Refuge, and had read about it, and I've read about it my whole life. I was going, and so that was just like, whoa, okay. I mean, it's just the edge of the world. And the Kong is pretty much as far northeast as you can get in Alaska. It's and it drains into the Beaufort Sea in the Arctic Ocean, and it's almost on the Yukon-Canadian border, pretty close. It's a gorgeous drainage. We were floating. Originally, our itinerary was 9 days or 8 days on the water. And we had to get out a day before because weather was coming in.
Like a big snowstorm, or?
Big storm, snowstorm. So up there it's the autumn, and this trip was the middle of August. August 12th was our 14th was the day we landed. It's tricky. We didn't go all the way to the ocean because this time of year there's Arctic fog and the bush planes can't land. Some do go to the Arctic, but it's kind of a double header because this time of year the the polar bears are out, and I learned when I was up there that was really they are made to, they're something not to mess with.
Because they hunt people.
They do hunt, and they are made to hunt. Mm-hmm. And where, of course, big brown bear, big grizzlies up there have a reputation too, because the tundra up there is so sparse of life, and everything fights to survive. It reminds me kind of a little bit of the desert Southwest. Everything is precious and holds on.
We just gotta have polar bears or grizzlies.
Right, yeah. But the bears were a non-issue because the caribou had already migrated through, and so all the apex predators, the wolves and the bears, follow the herds. And literally we saw, when we were there, when we saw one mammal, we saw this one tiny little mink. Lots of birds, a lot of songbirds. It was kind of trippy hearing a robin up there. I'm like, really, a robin?
Oh, they migrate all the way up there.
Yeah. It was amazing. And we're looking for these char, which are probably the most beautiful thing I've ever caught.
Really? Why? How so?
They're in their spawn, so there's and they're an androgynous species, so they're a sea run, and some are native that never run in the river, like the local residents that don't run, and some char run to the sea and come back. That's what I learned. The key part is finding them, because they're running up the river, and so this is glacial clear river, and this was the great beta that Thor gave me. It's you're looking for them, right? And you're not ghost casting to them. You're hunting.
Will you see them in the water?
Well, we learned the Kong is quick. It's a swift one. It's got a lot of gradient and a lot of CFS to it. But we kind of
class 3.
There was a class 3 section, which is it was super fun, totally doable, totally runnable. It was just fun whitewater. Kind of broke it up. But yeah, you can't stop Like you can't see them from the boat. So you have to stop at every likely spot, get out of the boats, and look and scout. And
you found them?
And we did, yeah. The first day we didn't really. I was just kind of blown away because you're like it's like the place is like perpetual autumn. It's all these like it's all gray, green. There's not a lot of like color to it, but all the colors and the different shades of gray and green. It's this autumnal light for the entire day because the sun's so low. So it's kind of like right now, like looking out, like my favorite time of year. I'm like, this place is like perpetual autumn. I mean, it's autumn up there, but that light, that magic hour, is pretty much all day
until winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's no light.
And then nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like darkness and
right.
Yeah, everything goes underground. It's just looking for these fish, right? So the second day, like we stopped these gravel bars and we're looking for char and we're not seeing any. And I'm getting like kind of nervous, but I'm also like, no, like we're gonna find them. And so I was on this run and I hook into this fish. I didn't see a char, but it was a grayling, and I was hooping and hollering like I was like my first trout on a fly rod. And Burr's just like laughing at me, and Sarah's running over, and it was just great. I mean, it was just like that. I haven't had that feeling fishing in a long time.
And then did you have that on the whole trip? Like what happens when you got your first char?
Oh my God, we couldn't find them, and so the next run it was like literally maybe 2 or 3 more likely spots and I was just like, man, where are these things, And so we eddied out, and we're walking up this gravel bar. Sarah goes downstream, I go upstream, and Burr like runs to the top of this cliff on river left, and so you can get the aerial view, and we're looking. And I never forget this because it's the best. Burr's like, they're everywhere. And I was like, and he just starts pointing, and then he's like, it was so cool because he was so excited. I mean, it was just like, and we all were, right? And so we start, it was this like river left bend that went into this cliff band. And so it was just, and then a lot of water, a lot of CFS coming in and really heavy current, and it's all like gravel bar. And so it made it really hard to get to the really big ones. And I'm like, Burr, how big? And he's like, oh my God, he's like, I can't tell, but he's like 30 plus below me. And I'm like, what? And I was like, so I was just like, ugh. And like, if you've ever been in that, I love it, like, you get all fumbly and you start cussing up your casts and like, you're nervous. And like, but there's like up there, I was like, oh, what am I nervous about? Like I've got nowhere to be, like except for right here. It's just like, so I just like started fishing, and it was so deep. I remember I kept my PFD on, I had my waders on, and I was like up to my waist. And anyone's ever waded before, wading's hard, right? And like that much force, I could walk up, and I was getting pushed downstream no matter how hard I was like pushing against the rear with my legs, and the gravel was giving way. So I was almost like drifting and like casting these super heavy line with a heavy streamer, and I was like getting the drift, and I wasn't quite getting deep enough. And so I like tweaked the weight, and then I remember I'm connected with my first one, and I was just like, oh my God. I think Sarah got the first one. Yeah, Sarah did. And it was just like we got the first one, and we forgot how to hold a fish. We forgot how to, we were both so nervous. We were like so excited. It was just like, it was just fishing with your friends. It was amazing.